Okay, we are live. Hi, it's me, Anita. This is Dolly. We'll be back in 10 seconds. You know, it's clear to me that I clearly cannot move mountains in 10 seconds. I try to move internet mountains like pages. Our page is like a mountain, and I just want to move that mountain to the rest of the world. And I have not gotten there yet. I have to work on.
All you're gonna say is move. I'm coming in.
I need more.
Hey, but you know what, darling? I'm very excited to see you, and I'm sure our wonderful and amazing viewers want to spend the next hour with us and just have a great time. So everyone, thank you so very much for joining us today to the DNA Authority. I am Dolly Cortes.
And I am Anita Myers. And today is Wonder Woman Wednesday. What a fantastical day. No, it's like Wonder Woman Wednesday night. We are having our first night show, Dolly and Anita. This is exciting because we've changed things so much. We've changed,
but there's a lot of changes, and we're gonna go over it. Let's do our quick intro and come right back and chat with our crowd. I know we're good.
I still can't move mountains.
And he's back. Why can't you move mountains? I believe you can.
No, Dolly, tell me what we're doing next, because I think I'm losing my grip here. What's happening?
Well, first of all, you're gonna say hi, everybody.
Is that really how I sound? That's too bad. Well, listen, I'm gonna say hi to everyone. But it's today is a very special day, because we are engaging in the power of confidence. I didn't get to do my echo before the intro, but I did it now. And here's the thing. This thing called confidence, it's really, really important that we have something like this. And we have a guest that we'll be talking to shortly that knows every single thing about achieving it, maintaining it, and setting it on fire. And I can't wait. I've been talking about it all day. I've been talking about it all month, and I've been talking to her for years and watching her. And I think that she's just an amazing guest. So we'll be introducing her in a little bit. But Dolly Cortes.
Anita Myers. I'm doing good. And you know why I'm doing good? Because I'm actually very excited at the fact that we chose to try something new. It is 2021. The time has come, and it's time for us to just explore, right? This is a good time to explore, to try new things, and to just be, to see where life takes us. So I'm excited that we have the show in the evening. Again, everyone who's joining us today, thank you so very much for watching us. If you're here, send us some love, and please engage. I know Barbara's here, Barbara Beckley. We have Jen Healy, Sonia Bean. How are you? We have several comments already from the ladies. So thank you so very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you. And we hope that you enjoy today's wonderful show.
Yes, comment and share and like and love and just, interact with us, because listen, we've been doing this now for over, is it almost 2 years?
2 years.
Okay, so this is when Dolly mentions change, That's not really foreign to us. All we've ever been doing since the day we were born is changing, adjusting, growing, learning. We try things and we adjust ourselves because we don't like how that is.
Yep.
So, this is just another thing that we're doing where it's not even a trial. We're just doing it because we tried like morning, afternoon, late afternoon. We're like, hey, let's just go with night. It's we didn't want it to feel alone. So we picked, we were looking at a 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock time slot, asked all of you out there who we could, what time would work. Y'all gave us 8 o'clock as a majority. So
we're here.
We are. And I'm so excited about it.
Yes, you are. I could tell. And you seem
Yeah, you have no idea how excited I am. If I were to stand up and talk, my husband actually suggested the idea. He's like, why don't you like stand and talk? I'm like, there's no way. I would never be on the screen. You know this for a fact. I like leave and come back and I move. So I have to stay stationary in my chair.
Well, that is true because, okay, so for those of you that are watching us, if you have not seen Anita, our cooking shows, maybe you can go through our page and scroll, and is any of our shows that has Annette Lisitra as our guest, because when this lovely, where are you? Here you are. When this lovely, beautiful, amazing friend / co-host of mine, she's cooking with Annette. What is she making with Annette? She has a tendency of going, hold on, and she disappears off screen.
I never come quite prepared. I feel like I'm so prepared. And then there's this one freaking thing I forget. And it's like, be right back. Boom, gone. But, regardless of that, I know that I'm much more animated when I stand up. My husband is too. We all just kind of move around a lot. And maybe my roots somewhere fall in Italy because I move my hands a lot. I know you do too. Yeah. So it's good.
Remember,
we got to stay within the confines. We got to stay within the confines of this rectangular box. And so far, so good. So far, so good.
Sounds good.
So the word that we were talking about today, if any of you, let me just back up a little bit. If any of you are coming on to see this show live, we started this like Dolly and I were just talking about 2 years ago. And what we did was, we met each other. We knew each other had the kind of energy that was very complementary to each other. We love to share information. We are healers. We are warriors to heal. And there's things that always go on in our lives that bring challenges. We've gone through our huge amount of challenges in our lives, and we've managed to overcome all of them because we're still here. And so what is it that we want to do? When we met each other, we were like, why don't we collaborate and work together? And one thing led to another, and here we are. We have this show, and we created this show. It was designed to get your mind to use all the powers within you while you're embracing all of the magical, amazing, monumental powers that are around you through the resources that we have. So we noticed that, someone like Dolly, she has so many networking people, business owners, organization leaders, people that she knows, people that I know. And I always feel like, why do we have to always aim for the one that's on television? While you can, and that is a resource for you. But what if you have someone similar or better right down the street, right in your neighborhood, right in your city or town, not a drive's worth away? You should get to know them and you should try these things out. And we network all the time. We meet people all the time. I met someone like our guest today that we're going to talk to her. We meet people all the time, and all we ever want to do is give you a sense of power that, number one, you do contain so much of that power within you. And if you can identify that you have it, then that's one wonderful thing. But then the next thing is we give you other people that can help support what you're looking for. And that makes you even more powerful. I think it's a wonderful thing. So we created this show and here we are.
You mentioned power, and I was listening to one of the videos that a wonderful and amazing guest had on her own timeline on Facebook. So I'll be happy to repeat this. But she said, and I have to write it down because I started laughing. She said, "I've got so much power, I can't keep up with myself." And
that's her.
absolutely loved it. I was like, now that is a badass. You know, I love people like that are so confident of themselves and are just saying, you know what, I got this. I'm good at what I do and I'm not afraid to say it. So I love that.
Yeah, and there is something that when we look at confidence, sometimes it gets mistaken for arrogance. Sometimes people can view someone who's confident and misread that as arrogance. And let's be clear that when we start navigating in our world and we meet people and we see them working hard and they're standing in a certain way, there is a difference between, I mean, Dolly, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. What would you think makes the difference between confidence and arrogance?
I think it's mainly the attitude that goes behind it. I mean, I'll tell you this. I mean, I'm a confident woman. I have absolute confidence in myself and my abilities and everything and anything that I'm able to accomplish and everything that I want to accomplish. I have confidence that I'm able to do that. I'm not being arrogant because I know I'm capable. I think that if someone is arrogant, they will, like, oh yeah, I got this, and doing their thing and just trying to even be like mocking other people and like I'm better than you and that type of thing. And no, there's no need for that. Look, one of the things that I absolutely love about our friendship, Anita, about our relationship as co-hosts on this show is that our intention has always been to help others. You and I do not compete with one another. I always say, I don't compete, I complete. And I rather work with you, another beautiful woman. I have no reason to be envious of you or jealous of you or anything like that. I think I don't have time for that crap. My focus is how can I help you be better? And so I'm confident of what I can do and accomplish. And those that know me, like yourself, know that I speak the truth. And if I didn't know what to do and I didn't know how to do it, I will also say it. I don't know how.
Yeah, that's really an interesting thing to talk about Dolly. I'm going to talk about Dolly now. So this is what I've observed about Dolly. This is a compliment. This is an absolute compliment to Dolly.
Thank you.
When she said what she said, this is an issue that I think it can be a problem. When you walk around, not when Dolly does, when someone walks around feeling a sense of lack, and then you meet someone who has something that you have a choice of either getting jealous or envious or feeling more of a lack because you don't have what they have, or you can choose to find out what they did to get that thing that they have that you want. What did it take for them to feel that way? What did it take for them to get it? So whenever I notice Dolly, let's say, she has what she has and she's always so happy that she has it, which is a really good attribute. But then, let's say, I'm just making it up. Let's just say, I got a new appliance in my kitchen and she shows up. She's not going to go, oh, look at that. She's going to say, oh my God, where'd you get it? And then I'd say, I got it at Lowe's. And she'd be like, okay, I'll be right back. And she'll go to Lowe's. If she couldn't afford it, if there was something that she couldn't get at the time, it's like a note and she'll work towards getting it. She just has the right kind of formula to stay inspired, to stay in a place where it's possible for her to get it. Where I think a lot of times people, when they're going through a sense of lack, if you are one of them and you feel like, I don't know if I'll ever get it, then that's your insecurity speaking. And that's something that really changes the game on if you can get what it is that you want. So I believe that she's really worked hard to see those equations happen. And that equation leads to her having confidence. So she's like always confident. She's like, if I didn't get it, then it wasn't meant to be. But if I want to get it, I'm going to work towards it. And then that's it.
Yeah, it's actually I'm a very simple person. I'm not complicated at all. Trust me, I'm not complicated at all.
It's this or it's this, and that's it. And you realize both of those are positives.
Well, it's really funny because you reminded me of a conversation I had earlier today with this lady, and she's trying to figure things out in regards to the writing world. How should I get started? Because I just don't know how. And I'm like, first of all, stop thinking of all the negative stuff that has been surrounding you, all the negative things that are holding you back. Focus on the good. And I said, let me ask you, what do you want? Chocolate or vanilla? And she just looked at me and she said, I don't know. I said, well, figure it out. And when you figure out what you want, write about it. What do you want? Chocolate or vanilla? You want chocolate? Tell me about it. What does chocolate look like? You want vanilla? What does a world filled with vanilla look like? Tell me about it. Okay? It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. But I did say this to her, or to another person. I could sometimes be a little confrontational, maybe just a little bit. But I say to people, it's like, if you don't have enough confidence in yourself, how is it that you would expect me to have confidence in you?
You know, I suddenly saw you on the top of a mountain, like Julie Andrews in Sound of Music, singing the song of confidence. I have confidence. You know, I think that, you are a strong woman. And when you lead with kind of like the poop or get off the pot mentality. And there are days that I do bring that forward, but I love when I hear you're like, what do you want? Chocolate or vanilla? What do you want? Make a decision. And like
you know what, Anita, you know what? Our show is about keeping it real, right? It's about keeping it real. And that's how I am. That's how I've always been. And I am tired sometimes of listening to people just sit in their pity party and not want to accept their greatness.
Yeah.
You know, if I can,
maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know that though. Maybe they, and the thing is,
because
that's not a critique on you, Dolly. This is not a critique on you, but this is just something to observe. Okay. That, your way of handling these things can actually get people closer to their final destiny, because, or, whatever their desire is, because you kind of cut all the extra stuff out. And that's great for those who are ready for that. You have to, like, if you want that, you go to Down to like, boom, what do you want? Okay. Chocolate or vanilla. And then for someone like myself, I will not say that I don't go there, because I do. Ask my family, I will go there, but I have a few steps in between that I'd like to make sure we can dance together and see that, you understand the steps a little bit better. And it's not always, and I know that she's a lovely lady in how she handles it, but I like that what she does is she tries to make that point from point A to point B. She's trying to make it shorter for you, so you don't have to go through all that extra stuff. You don't have to. But I do know that as easy as it is to talk about it, it's very simple, right? We all have these simple equations. The world knows that there's simple equations, but it's a choice that's being made on how we actually conduct ourselves and what we do and when we react to these things that take place. Are we acting in confidence, or are we acting in arrogance? Are we checking in with ourselves? Mm-hmm. Are we actually like managing? And sometimes you have friends that try to help you manage that by saying, listen, listen,
Linda,
you need to kind of slow your roll. All right.
I completely agree. And Anita, you and I can talk as always, like for 17 hours straight, and we're still laughing. But we have a beautiful and amazing guest, which I know all of us want to get here on the show. So why don't we take a quick break, and I'm going to have you introduce her so we can bring her in, okay?
That's right. The entry and your beautiful smile, it just made me laugh. I don't know. I'm just waiting for that cute.
I have no producer. What? I love your ad. It's just like,
oh, you love my ad?
Yeah, it's just like it's just the way it just brings it. It's just the subtleness. I love it. It's just soft. It's kind. It's like and powerful all at once.
thing. That's the thing. Dolly Cortez. It's all about the emotional intelligence in my world. And it's like, it's so subtle and it can be so passionate and it could mean the difference of your life. And so anyway, when I put that ad together, the promo together, I can't even believe that we're doing that. Like I just had a conversation with my illustrator who was a guest last week. And the thing about it was I was telling her how I thought that you needed to go to school for all these things, like talking to the camera, this thing right in front of me, to do that and to make a video. And like, you have to go to school for it.
Uh-huh.
And now you can do everything because of YouTube.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? The power of the internet, the researching, the Google, Googlealo is what they say in Spanish. Girlfriend, introduce our guest. I want to bring her in.
I know. I can tell you're chomping at the bit. So am I. So, 3 years ago, I met this incredible powerhouse. Her name is Kristie Kennedy. And I just want to give you one quick quote to introduce her. This is what she said. The lukewarm soul has no power to reach higher. You've got to bleed fire to conquer your deepest desires. Oh, I just got on fire when I heard her say that. Can I just say it again? I won't. I'll wait. But here's
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you about her before we get her. It says, as a woman's empowerment speaker who provides confidence and clarity coaching to female leaders and business executives, her purpose is to deliver the keys to limitless possibilities. Her purpose is to awaken the woman who has been sleeping on her greatness and reaffirm her worth by inspiring her to realize that any pain she has encountered was a divine invitation to rule and reign. I got the goosebumps. This is Kristie Kennedy of Queenfidence. Please come on board.
Hello. Now you ladies are on fire. Woo!
It's nighttime and Anita took a nap, so it's all good.
We weren't supposed to tell everybody, but anyway, we all need a nap. We all need a 5-minute nap.
All the time, joking. Trust me, I'm not judging. I'm loving.
Come on, naps are sexy.
Kristie, thank you so much for making time to be with us. This is the first night show of the DnA Authority. I have had my eye on you. Sounds like I'm a stalker, but I've had an eye on you ever since I met you because we were talking about this outside of the show that you really brought to my attention to kind of share with everybody here. Someone said, hold on a minute, Belinda Knox. Hello, Belinda. She says she's hot. That's what she said. Belinda said, you hot.
He's caliente, baby.
Yeah, the thing is that I was talking about that as women, and men have their heroes, and we have our sheroes. Actually, there are women out there that are showcasing influence. And while everyone that knows me knows that I got this bad, amazing thing for Wonder Woman, I also look for that among real individuals around. And I was just telling Kristie off camera that she is my shero because I listen to her. I look at what her accomplishments are, but I also listen to her and what she says. Who motivates me? It's this gal right here. She is just an amazing woman. So I wanted to take a moment while I'm just gushing all about you. I want to take a moment to have you kind of introduce yourself to this world. There's people that don't know who you are. Who are you? How did you get to where you are? And where do you see yourself going?
That's such a loaded question. One, I want to say thank you. Let's go. Thank you for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted. Happy New Year to everyone that's tuning in. But who is Kristie? Kristie is down to earth. She is right at home in her own skin. And it took almost 30 something years to get there. And so that's why you feel that passion, because I've been on this journey trying to figure out what makes me tick. I honestly believe that no one is you and that is your power. It's one of my favorite quotes. And for so many years, I was constantly discounting who I was because I was so different. I was the oddball. And it's not until a woman really steps inside of her power, steps inside of her greatness, steps inside of her purpose, that she really gets to see herself eye to eye. And who I am at the heart is just a woman who's passionate about inspiring others to believe that they can do anything they desire.
Yes. I love that. I love it. And, you know, when you say that, you know, I always look at, and this is not to put it's to be maybe the devil's advocate, because we come into this world with this way of being. And, you know, you mentioned that you were an oddball. I'd love to know more about that. But when we look at how we feel and we meet people who don't feel that way, what do you feel is the beginning step for them to break out of that?
The first question I asked myself, Anita, was, who am I? Because as you know, oftentimes we have been told who we are. We have societal labels, and anything that you experience think about grade school to middle school, college, and on, whatever your experience has been. I can remember distinctly when I was in kindergarten, I would talk and I would get put in that little corner. And so I started associating talking is bad. Now get that, I'm doing this full time every day, all day.
That's right.
So how we interpret our experiences.
Take your voice away. They try to take your voice away as a young child. Hey, you know, I have a clip of my dear Kristie here that I would love to show for those of you audience members that have not seen this woman in action. And I mean, I was on fire when watching that. So why don't we put this clip on so that people can see a little bit more about you? Although we have you live, of course, we're going to come right back to you.
It's Working Girl Wednesday. Woo! Hey, 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 hey. I'm up and on my way. I'm up and on my way. Work with it, work with it. Hey, hey. Today is a good day to elevate to great. Nelson Mandela said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not fear, but he who has conquered fear. You got to lean into that discomfort. You got to lean into the resistance. You got to lean in if you want to launch out.
Don't you just love that? Don't you just love that?
Oh, and there's so much more. She's just so, I love that she does what she does, you know? She just kind of lets herself.
The passion. It's the passion. That's what really sets you apart. You know, when I was seeing you, you're just like, you know, just the passion, you the emphasis, you got rhythm, but you got passion
in my head.
Well, well, here's the thing I want to ask you, Kristie, because something that I learned about you, I didn't know the details as of yet, but you did have a fear of speaking. Is that right?
Yes.
You'd never know. I think I did a little research on you, and you conquered that, and here you are going from a fearful place to a confident place to so confident you've got queenfidence. Let's start from there. What happened in that situation? How did you get to that place where you could start speaking and feeling confident about it?
Oh my goodness. You're about to bring up tears. I just want to hear it, because I remember being a prisoner in my own mind, I often say, and I just had to break out. I often say, if you don't break out, you will remain bound up. And Maya Angelou even talked about it. She said, there is no greater agony than carrying an untold story in our soul. And I was walking around with all of these experiences, but fear had a muzzle over my mouth. And one day I just was tired of being afraid. And I can remember distinctly that I was in my senior class at Florida State University, and I'm in the back of the class. I would always sit in the back. I was always hiding. And that's why I tell people you can go from invisible to invincible, but I was hiding. I didn't want to be noticed. I didn't want to be seen. I dressed like it. I'm telling you, I was quiet as a mouse. And one day my professor asked a question, and I felt like I had to answer, and I felt like my eyes lit up, and he called on me. And I spoke, and out of the 4 years I had been in college, I hadn't spoke since freshman year now. And I spoke, and I got the answer wrong, but in the back of the classroom, I was crying because I knew something was happening internally. Those chains were breaking. And that was the beginning of me using my voice.
Oh my goodness. And the thing I love about that story, just in itself, I could just sit and pick it apart in a really wonderful way, that you know, you didn't get the answer correct, but you broke the chain of silence. Woo!
That was freedom. That was freedom.
It was freedom. And that's what I give, the gift of freedom every day.
That's right. And like, did you ever have that, Dolly? Did you ever have a fear that that brought you to a place of confidence?
Oh my God. That's a good question. I don't know.
How about yours? Did you have it? If so, you have to tell us, because now I need to know. I can tell you mine, at least, when I think I'm listening to what she said, and I almost got, I can almost feel what you may have felt, because nobody knows this. We don't show this. We keep it to ourselves. But I think about the time that I ended up saying no. I always was the yes girl for my family, and and I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like, you don't talk back to your parents. You don't say no if you're being asked to do something. You just do it. It's a respect thing. It's a good behavior thing. Be a good girl thing. And I reached an age in my, it was in my 20s. That's how long it took, where I finally kind of had this conversation with myself. I'm like, you know what? You've got to say no. And it was one of those things where, it's a parental thing where my father's saying something, expecting me to go and do this. It was going to happen anyways, according to him. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to go in that direction. I really didn't want to. So it was a nerve-wracking moment. I had already imagined that I was going to be like dead on the floor. He's going to kill me, kind of thing. I mean, It's exacerbated in my mind, but that's what I thought. And I said, I'm going to take that chance. And I remembered when I said, he's like, he did this, one of these things, well, and I remember just, I may have been at like 20 or 19, and I just felt like I was 3, like, just the outside of me was this older lady, young lady, but I was so afraid. And I said, no. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but I felt like crying because I said no. But he did not have the reaction that I had anticipated. He allowed the no. And when he allowed the no, if I think about it, could get me, I know what you mean with emotional.
Yeah.
He permitted the no. That told me that I made it bigger than what it really was, that I should say no. And it actually led to so many, and it also led to my yeses. It led to all the things that really mattered that went in my direction. And that did slowly over the years give me the confidence to say, I can say no and it'll be just fine.
Yep. That's really powerful. We have a question here from Sonia, being, if you wouldn't mind repeating the quote, if you don't break out,
you will remain bound up.
I'm gonna put
I wrote that down too.
So remain bound up. Anita, your story reminded me, actually, there was a time that my parents were looking at moving also, and they were talking about maybe going back to Puerto Rico, and I was just a teenager. And at that time, as a teenager, and I was going to be going into college soon, at that time they said, oh, we'll just move back to Puerto Rico, blah blah blah. And I said, well, I'm not going anywhere. And I remember, not my parents, but my brother actually said, you don't have a brother, right? So my brother actually said to me, who do you think you are? You don't make decisions here. And I look at him and I'm like, and neither do you.
That was born with confidence. You already had it, man. That's great.
Yeah, but it was like I just listening to what you had to say, and it was like, no, I know what I want. I wanted to be here. I wanted to study here. I wanted to continue my life here. So
yeah. Kristie talked about how earlier in this show, she was talking about how other people can other people control what you think, control what you do, control how you should be. And when you're a young girl, young boy, what do you know? You're supposed to. This is what's in front of you. It's like, when I think about animals, I see the duck and the little duck is away from the mom and comes to like another animal. It's like, you're my mom now. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They're looking to be led. And so when you have people that lead a child, lead a child to thinking that the only way to get through life is through their way, that they don't have an identity, that's where we have a problem with why confidence is so difficult. And I want to ask Kristie this question. We were talking about this before you came on. the difference between confidence and arrogance. What's your thought on, when you see those two things? Because there is a fine line. And I don't know if anyone understands how to see the two. And you are the queenfidence. I'd love to know more about that too. Can you share about the difference of confidence and arrogance?
Absolutely. And you guys alluded to it, but when you think about confidence versus arrogance, it does come with this air of superiority. When I think about confidence, each and every one of us gets to define what confidence is. And so for me, if I were defining who I am as a confident woman, confident would mean that I'm going to be compassionate to others. When I think about arrogant individuals, sometimes it's very cutthroat. I'm going to get rich or die trying. And no matter who I have to step over, I don't want to be that. I think about conviction. I have a firm belief in my principles, my values. That's what's driving me every single day. You will never see me use profanity, and that gives me confidence. Why? Because it's a standard. The way I dress, that is a reflection of my confidence. So I honestly believe it's your own inner image of how you want to be in this world. Arrogance, to me, oftentimes is very self-centered.
That's right. So when I wrote down two very, how earlier on Dolly was saying, I'm a very simple person, very simple. So we do, as human beings, because we are loaded with so many emotions in our beautiful noggin. We have so many things to figure out. We've got logic and emotions that are having arguments with each other in the home up here. We don't always look at the simplicities that are there for us. Our body has its values and principles. You mentioned values and principles. Two things. If you knew what your values were, if you had your principles in check, and if you start thinking about that right now, you may have had what you had when you were younger. You may have had what you had when you were in your teens or in your 20s. Where are you right now? I think, Kristie, when you've had your values and principles, were they something that kind of developed over time, or did they change, or was it always the same?
At the heart, I've always been one that loves people. My name, actually, when my mother named me, it was from her favorite show, Get Kristie Love. And when you start coming into yourself, I realized that I want to treat people with love, because I was the one that was bullied. And I was the one going back to being different, being ostracized. So I never want a woman, or a man for that matter, but I deal with women. I never want a woman to feel ostracized. If I have an event and I feel like the introvert that I am is showing up in the space and she's doing exactly what I used to do, I'm going to make sure somebody's talking to her because she is not as comfortable opening up in those large settings.
You know who you are? You know who we are? There's a new thing in school that's been going around for I don't know how many years now. It's fairly new. There's something called a buddy bench. Has anyone heard what I'm talking about? Okay, so I'll tell you. Because I'm a mom. My daughter, she's 14, but this is what had happened in the so many years ago. That if there's someone on the playground, you have all the kids playing on the playground, but then there's children that don't have friends to play with. And when you're all alone, gosh, in our times, we just kind of dealt with it and really sucked. But now they created something called the buddy bench, which is if you don't have anyone to play with and you're at this young age and you don't really know how to socialize very well, you can go sit on this bench, and that signals to the other children that there's someone that doesn't have anyone to play with. So then other children show up and they're like, hey, how are you? So
assuming that's how they show up versus, oh, he doesn't have anyone to play with, let me beat him up,
Right. I look at us, the way I'm hearing what you're saying, we're kind of like the walking buddy bench. We're the ones that are, because I see what you're saying, that when we're in a crowd and we see people that are on their own, I'll walk over to them. I was like that in high school too. I don't understand how anyone could ostracize anyone for anything unless they're doing something detrimental to someone's life, that they're threatening someone's life. I understand those obvious common sense decisions, but anything else, there's no reason. You shouldn't. So I want to hug her.
We have a question for you.
I love the buddy bench. That's so beautiful.
I never heard of a buddy bench. We do have a question, and it is, Kristie, do you have a pivotal person in your life that gave you the direction to believe in yourself? That's a great question, Sonia.
Woo.
That's a loaded question.
There have been several women that have been instrumental in the formation and development of Kristie. But one that stands out more than anything was my first spiritual friend. And I was changing my life, and I wanted to be a better person, a better woman. And this young lady, she demonstrated love. She taught me about prayer. She taught me about kindness and really embodying service. You know, she really was that for me. And even to this day, you know, Christmas, I got this huge box in the mail from her with all kinds of goodies, from a Snoopy blanket, you name it. And it's been 20 plus years. But when I was changing my life, and I talk about this often because we know that there's power in those that we surround ourselves with. And I am very selective in who comes around me. Everyone talks about my energy, and it's a reason, because I do not tolerate toxic relationships. And so she was the first one to teach me about what it looked like, a healthy female to female friendship.
That's wonderful.
That's wonderful. I hear you talk about, you know, the people that you choose to surround yourself with. Jim Rohn, right? You know, absolutely. You become the average of the 5 people you hang around with. And I think that is so incredibly powerful, because people have still a tendency to not choose wisely. Not choose wisely. And I think that it doesn't have to be difficult. It's not always easy, but it doesn't have to be difficult. And also the second piece of the toxicity. Why would you allow the toxicity in your life?
Ooh, right there. Why would you allow?
Yeah.
And that goes back to our esteem, because I remember in my teenage years and the individuals I was surrounded with, my life was completely different. And it's the reason why I do not drink today. When I was talking about being sober for 23 years, the friends that I was with, we were all drinking. You see what I'm saying? The values, I had a different value system back then. I didn't have any values. And so when you start creating standards, this is who I want to be. And I want to be happy with the woman I'm looking at in the mirror. It is a game changer.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love
you know, gosh, you know, when you both are speaking, there's like 15 topics I want to just talk about. And I know I have to keep it together. We have to bring her back, but we're not leaving yet. I want to ask you, my beautiful, amazing, passionate queen, you said that you are someone who's the founder of Queenfidence. Can you tell us a little bit about what Queenfidence is?
Queenfidence is the ability to stand in your power unapologetically. It is a bodacious belief. It's a radical resilience. When you think about accomplishing massive goals, I often say galactic challenges, they do require galactic courage. And Queenfidence is the embodiment of that. This is a woman who is fortified in who she is, and she knows exactly where it is that she's headed. And she is not going to be persuaded to do anything other than the beat of her heart. That is Queenfidence in a nutshell.
Wow. Now
I need a minute. Wait, pause and rewind and play that back slowly. I don't even know where to be.
From the heart.
Yeah, no, I tell you, you know what? You're like poetic as you speak.
She is the jam. She is my jam. She is my jam.
I know you really, really are. There's something I was trying to type it as I'm listening to you, and I'm typing it out so that our viewers and listeners can see this. But you said galactic.
Yeah. I wrote it down. Do you have it?
Require galactic what?
Courage.
Okay, that's the word I missed.
Galactic.
You gotta have some courage.
I wish I could have a camera to everyone who's watching this, and how many of them wrote that down, because I was like, ooh.
Wow. I'm trying for the journey.
I'm trying to type it into the chats here, because you know we're being we're seeing this on YouTube, and I just want to make sure that you know that our viewers are able to capture all of these, you know, nuggets of wisdom that you're sharing with us, but the passion that you're sharing with us, and I just absolutely love it.
Galactic challenges require galactic courage. If you knew that you had, we all know when we have a galactic challenge, we all know it. We feel it in our soul. And when you know you have it, if you knew that you needed galactic courage, you can get it. It's all within us. And I know that we get pressured and pushed, and we oftentimes it's just ourselves that do it. It's not others. It's not others. They may have set the stage once upon a time, but it comes back because it's in our own mind. And if we could just shove that aside and open ourselves up to allow that galactic courage to show up, boom, I'm telling you, that is it.
Drop the mic.
That made me
I like drop my mic, but I think I'll break it and then I
No,
won't.
not really.
Yeah, and the thing is I know that she had more. She said way more. She said so many things. So definitely rewind, replay, share the sucker out. People need to hear what she has to say. Every single word.
Anya just posted over here again. She said they are bigger than nuggets. They are like bombs of beautiful beliefs. Ooh, Sonia,
wow.
you are poetic too. I love it. I love it.
Come on. I love it.
People come beautiful beliefs. I love it.
So, I want to ask Kristie, now here we are, okay? We're here, it's 2021. Let's just look at this entire thing right now, because we're talking about some great feelings on the inside. And confidence is so freaking important because it should be the greatest tool that we use to move forward. That's what we did when we were kids. We wanted a cookie in the cookie jar. You're going to have to walk over to it and stretch out and get it. That's what we did. That required confidence. So now we went through something that's called 2020, and sadly, we all equate 2020 with things that are like, wah, wah. We're now in 2021.
Kristie, with Anita, you get sound effects and colorful. Anita's very colorful, which I absolutely love. I'm always telling her how much I enjoy speaking with her because it's always an experience. Wah, wah.
You are the cartoon of my life. Okay, that's what I want. But if you're here in 2021, everyone's been like waiting on it. They're praying. People are screaming Jumanji at 12 o'clock. So the desperation of having something great is important. But coming from your world and the way that you set your own stage and the way you set your clock at midnight, what do you think every single day? What can you impart on people today? Here it is. Here we are every day. What can you give to them now if they come on to this, watching this today, if they're watching it right now or tomorrow, the next day, and they're still kind of slumping, and there's reasons to slump. We see it all the time, but we're in our own little area. What words could you impart on them as you get ready for the rest of the night? What can they take from you so that they can live a better life in 2021?
It's all about setting your own self on fire. Ferdinand Foch, one of my favorite quotes, in addition to all my other favorite quotes, but Ferdinand Foch said the most powerful weapon on earth is the human spirit set on fire. And that's what I do every single day. People want to know, how do you stay fired up? Even my clients today in session, we hadn't seen each other since last year. And she was like, how can I get some of that energy? And it's what I do every single day. And this is when we're deliberate. You've got to be deliberate. There are distractions everywhere. It's unquestionable. But you've got to find your focus. You've got to feed that fire. And you're going to have to fight for your future.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen.
Oh, God. Yes.
So good.
Yeah, my cowbell.
I know.
Oh, my God.
I feel like I'm in church. I need the little fan. Like I'm losing it. This is good stuff. I'm on fire.
All right, Kristie, you just did something I never expected on our show. You brought a cowbell. You brought a cowbell.
Cowbell. I bring back. We want more cowbell. That was so great. So great.
That is so fantastic. You know what? I absolutely love your spirit. I love what you do. Let me ask you: are you local? Are you here in Illinois, or are you out of state?
I'm in Tallahassee, Florida, the capital.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I did not know that. So
that's how I met Anita in Illinois.
Yeah. It was by chance. And thank you to Tanya, good old Tanya. I don't know if she's there, if she's watching now or later. But it was her. I went to her event. She had an event called Hugs for Women. Okay. And I had seen her. When I walked in, I was listening to Kristie talk, and I said, "Who is that woman?" And my ears were just like you saw me just scream like I was in church. My ears were like, listening to her, and my body's like, keep it together. Don't stand up. Don't scream, because I really just wanted to constantly get up and scream, because, Kristie shares such a fire that every human being on this planet deserves to feel, because we're all here. Mm-hmm. And while you get your days, while you get your seconds, while you have your moments, that's why I'm being honest. I know what my life was like. I can relate to an extent to Kristie, because I was I know people don't realize it, but I was very introverted. And to be extroverted in these moments, to choose your time, to be in self-control of how you want to live your life, to own your life, to own it. I say, harness your mind power to master your universe. You got to harness that thing. You know, you heard principles, values. You want to own it. And when you hear Kristie, I mean, you know, she's the epitome of owning it and wanting you to own it too. And I just, I feel so grateful to have you on here on our show as our first show.
And you're Anita Myers Powers, because you've known this wonderful and amazing lady for 3 years, and this is the first time I meet her.
Well, that's nice. She's a rock star that is very busy. So when I was thinking about her last year, I mean, I'm just sitting here listening to her and loving on her so much about what she has to say. And then I thought to myself, this was last year. I said, I contacted Kristie. I'm like, I want to talk to you. I gotta see if you want to come on our show. And I did make it specific because I could have had her last year, but we were towards the end of the year. And I said, no. I want her to be at the very beginning, the very first show of 2021, because I feel like the world's going to need to hear what she has to say. Wow. And I feel really good about that decision.
Wow.
Well, Kristie,
I'm really confident about that decision.
There you go, power girl.
I love you both. Thank you so much.
What can you leave our viewers with tonight?
So we've been talking about owning your power. And ladies, I know that we are in a very critical moment in time, but I want you to understand that there is power inside of you. There is power in your voice. We have to stop entertaining itty bittiness, as I call it. That time is over. We're not there anymore. We need giants in the land. And if ever there was a time for you to demonstrate what you're made of, today is the day. Tonight is the night. Tomorrow will be that moment. And so stop talking yourself out of your opportunity. Stop talking yourself out of what is possible. Because Emily Dickinson, she said, we dwell in possibility. And when you stay in that space where it's possible, I'm telling you, you will defeat your limitations every single time. Ask me how I know, because I'm living it every day of my life. And it does require you to be sold out to your greatness.
All over my
It can't be bought. It can't be bought.
That's what I got to say. That's what I got. You know, let me tell you something. There's one thing that you reminded me of. Before I let you go, I have to share this with you. When you said stop talking yourself out of opportunities.
Yeah.
I can't recall who, I'm terrible about quotes, but I can't recall who said this. But it was about, imagine you being at your deathbed and being surrounded by all the opportunities that you did not take. And I tell you, I believe, I'm confident in myself to know that if there's an opportunity that comes knocking on my door, an opportunity is only an opportunity if you're ready to take it. And I promise you, I'll be ready to take it. Because there's nothing I'm not willing to do for myself, for my family, to get to where I want to be. So I really hope that for our viewers that are watching us today, if there is something out there that you've been wanting, that you've been yearning, that you just really truly believe that you deserve, today, make that decision to go for it. Don't hold yourself back. Don't procrastinate. Don't self-sabotage. Tonight's the night. Make that decision. Make 2021 the best year you've ever had. You can do it. I know I will. The question is, are you willing to? Are you willing to do this for yourself? I think you can.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Yeah.
I need a cowbell now.
I know. That was awesome. She has got the cowbell.
She dropped it. Yeah, your execution has to be greater than the excuses.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to be excuses for days.
I was going to ask her, I don't think I want to ask her now, but I'm going to say it out loud. Like I was going to ask Kristie, what words would you want to leave somebody to say tomorrow? What's a good confident, word, a word that would help bring, or a sentence that would help bring confidence. I'll still ask it, but I do want to also say a little caveat here. Anyone who's watching this show at all today, in just 1 minute, you would get like 3 sentences and phrases. This woman just delivered so much gold in just easy, simple words to have you magnify from where you are now to where you really need to be. And I know I'll still ask the question if she has anything more she'd like to share in terms of, if somebody were to leave this show right now and have, I'm going to call it a mantra, it's just something that you want to say to yourself. If you already have one and you love where it takes you, great, keep doing what you're doing. But I'm thinking about the ones that are, just kind of wedging out from that corner where they're kind of hanging out, not sure of themselves, that they really want to be confident. If there's something that the queen of queenfidence can share in terms of what's a good statement that someone can say, then feel free to let us know.
Oh, yes. I have statements for days. Nothing massive occurs by being passive. Nothing massive ever occurs by being passive. And passivity is not going to get it. You have to get into this game. You've got to be willing to get your hands, knees, feet, everything muddy, because this is war. You're warring for your future, your finances, your family, your promotion, whatever that is. And it is not a walk in the park. So nothing massive ever occurs by being passive.
I love it.
I love it.
Fantastic. Kristie, I love you. I love your fire. I love who you are. And I pray that you have just the most sensational, amazing fire walk of your life through this whole year and beyond. I'm so glad that you were able to come on here. We're running out of time. So I wanted to make sure that I told you how glad I was to have you.
I feel like I could talk to her for 17 hours.
I know.
I can talk to you all for 24 and 48 and 72.
You're really amazing. I also want to personally just thank you. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, for bringing the fire and the passion to the
fire over the whole thing. I'm not done.
Yeah, no, I tell you, you're truly amazing, and it's really been a pleasure to just have this opportunity to chat with you, even though it was for just a short time. And I hope that you will come back.
Come back. We'll talk to you again and have you back this year.
Anytime I'll bring my Southern charm to you all. And I love you both. You're dynamic together. My goodness. It was absolute joy.
Thank you so much. You have a great evening.
You too, beautiful.
All right,
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Hey, you too. Bye-bye. Oh my God.
Wow. That was amazing. Let's take a quick break and you and I, wow. Be right back. Okay.
And here we are.
What a show. Oh my God, what a guest. She's amazing. I just absolutely loved her. She's the type of person I just want to hang out with.
She is. I mean, and that's what's really nice. If you go to her page, she does always leave a message every day. I always see a message from her, and that's like my fortified vitamin that I take every day, so I could, feel it in my soul. What I know that I can connect so much, and you can too. If you're listening and you pay attention to what she's saying, not everybody's used to that kind of strength that she shares. You can feel it when you actually go to when she speaks, when you see her in person, you can feel it in the room. That's why I said it feels like Sunday church. It feels like the Blues Brothers church on Sunday when the light comes through. It's like that kind of thing. And you can see just for just a little bit, like this is what she says. And I think more than anything, here's a woman who identified herself as someone who is introverted.
Yeah.
And she was afraid to speak. And now, please, you'd never think that. She walks in confidence. She breathes confidence. She is confidence. That's why she is Queenfidence. And I'm really glad that we were able to have her on. And I really do hope her message doesn't just reach your ears, but it really goes right into your soul and talks to you tonight when you go to sleep, has you thinking about where you want to go. You know, how are you going to start your steps tomorrow? What are you going to start tonight?
Well, I know where I'm going to start tonight. I think I need a notebook just to write, those sayings that she was,
You can rewind and replay and write it down.
Well, I'm going to rewind, replay, and come up with my own.
You can do that. That's what you can do.
Absolutely, because you know what? I call them nuggets, but I think it was Sonia that said they were beautiful beauties, bombs of beautiful beauties, and it's just like, oh my God, it's the emphasis that she used and the passion that she put behind her message. Every single statement that she shared with us was so incredibly on target.
She's articulate, and that, I think when you reach a place in your life where you know what you feel and you can articulate it, that confidence rolls easy. And that's where you can feel the power. And I just read Jen said that she was so powerful. Without a doubt, when you start listening to what she's saying, you focus in on it, that's power through the words, the delivery, and the feeling behind it. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. Some people will say, well, I can never be like her. No one's asking you to be like her. But if you can get influenced by the feeling that you should feel, whatever that looks like, then you should go for that and reach yourself to the next level. What is, say your name 2021. What's that version going to be like? What are you going to chase after? And what opportunities are you no longer going to talk yourself out of? Maybe those are things you can ask yourself tonight, write it down in your journal, start asking yourself, what am I talking myself out of that I really don't need to be doing? Wow. It's good stuff. And, maybe we should all look into getting a cowbell, because I certainly want to ring that sucker.
Awesome.
That was so fun.
Hey,
when she threw that out, I was not ready for that one. I was like, oh!
No, but she just cracked me up. And she goes, here's my cowbell.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen who are watching the show today, I hope you enjoyed it. Please share with us what you thought about everything that you heard. And I hope you get to stay and watch some more shows. We're gonna do this every night now. Oh, I'm sorry, every Wednesday night.
Not Anita, I'm a little busy, so we can't do it every night.
every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central. Stay with us, and let us know if there's some topics you want to hear about. Let us know if you know people that are just as lively and amazing as our guest today, Kristie Kennedy. And we'd love to be able to see who we can bring on for you all in 2021.
That would absolutely be great. And I have one special request. If you enjoyed our show, if you could please share the video, just share it out. Let your friends hear it. Let your family hear it. And also, don't forget, we do have a YouTube channel, so we would love for you to subscribe as well. So you have a beautiful and amazing evening. Really quick, we have Rima here, who says this was absolutely amazing. Thank you for your positivity and amazing energy. Much love. Rima, thank you so very much. For all of you that sent us messages throughout the show, thank you so much for the time that you have given us. And with that, may God bless you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.